Good. How about you?
Hey, we're here. I mean, it is officially. I mean, this whole off season went by like this, like
Yeah.
not like a Thanos snap, but like it just went by fast. But it was actually almost 7 months ago the Rams hoisted the Vince Lombardi Trophy, Matt, and now here we are, September the 8th. We're back inside the Rams house.
Yeah, it's exciting. It feels honestly, it feels like yesterday I was watching Aaron Donald take down Joe Burrow in the game end, and it was just I still just remember every play from that game. So I can't
You
believe
know,
it's been 7 months.
And Matt, it's funny. Whenever I watch that play, they always play it in slow motion now, and I feel like that I'm waiting on the Chariots of Fire theme. You probably remember that theme.
Uh-huh.
I'm literally waiting on that because it's like one of those like climatic like defensive moments. It's something you dream about as a defensive player.
Yeah, yeah. That was just icing on the cake, especially for Donald to get that play and seal the deal like that. That was a cool moment for everybody.
Yeah, so you know what we've already. So I'm sure a lot of guests are already starting to file in, but thank you so much, everybody who are tuning in with us. So, if you may not know who I am, Lorenzo J. Reyna. I've been with Heavy on Rams for over a year. This is actually my second season officially covering the Rams, but I'm very, very blessed to be joined by a fellow Fresno State Bulldog. I'll let him introduce himself.
Yeah, my name's Matt Wadleigh. Like Lorenzo said, I'm a Fresno State guy. I'm new to the Heavy on Rams family, so I'm excited to dive in on the 22 season coming, 2022 season coming off the Super Bowl title. So I'm excited for this year.
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, obviously, I have a bias because like the whole like bulldog born, bulldog bred demographic that we both have. We're both technically 5'9" guys, so I'm sure Matt. There is a little bit of a Rams following back into Central Valley, even though you also have your 49ers following, also a big Raiders following. But tonight's about the Rams house, right?
Yep, yep. Tonight's definitely about the Rams house.
Yeah, so you know what? I think we're gonna get right into it. So we got a few topics we want to share. If you also want to comment, you're more than welcome to. I do ask this though, and Matt, I'm sure will ask this as well. Please keep it clean. No profanities, no racial slurs, no sexist comments, none of that. I mean, we're here to have fun. Obviously, there's going to be moments where Matt and I are going to have an agree to disagree type moment, but we're here to talk about what we love to do, and it's already been a blast following this Rams team as they make their march to possibly another Vince Lombardi title, which would give them the franchise's third Super Bowl trophy. So, Matt, you ready to go?
Let's do it.
All right, so topic number one, Matthew Stafford. We're going to play a little game called Over Scrutinized or Fairly Scrutinized. So I'll start by asking this, Matt. Or I'll start by saying this. Matthew Stafford's elbow, I mean, it was probably like the most scrutinized elbow throughout the whole offseason. Like, there was the tendonitis battle. There's the morning report from Adam Schefter that he did actually have some reconstructive surgery. So I'll start by saying this, Matt. I felt like that elbow was over scrutinized. And here's the reason why. That elbow tendonitis still threw a 40-yard bomb when I was at training camp. That elbow tendonitis still got Allen Robinson to catch a one-handed pass. That elbow tendonitis still was connecting with Cooper Kupp. Now, granted, the Rams smartly, they allowed their other guys like John Walford. They had Luis Perez briefly. They allowed them to get some reps. So they kind of had Matthew Stafford on a pitch count. But my question to you, Matt, is Stafford double, was it over scrutinized or do you feel like it was fairly scrutinized?
I agree with you. It was over scrutinized. I mean, yeah, he looked fine at training camp, and I mean, obviously the Rams aren't going to rush him back if he's not healthy. So I think it was over scrutinized for sure all the way across. At the same time, yeah, he's getting towards the older part of his career, and the elbow could be a concern. But
Right.
again, they're gonna take care of him for sure. And I mean, all the videos we saw at training camp, and I mean, you were there firsthand, but he looked fine. So I I really don't think there's much to worry about now.
I would honestly say this, Matt. I would probably like be more concerned if it was Tommy John surgery, if the elbow was like completely shredded, or like if maybe like they threw out the whole non-contact drills for quarterbacks and Aaron Donald made a beeline toward Matthew Stafford, then like I would throw a panic. But I mean, I guess I kind of get why like people were wondering like what it was, because I mean, Matthew Stafford, he's dealing with a much more bigger audience in the LA media, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
And not only do you not have just the LA media, but you have social media. I mean, people are going to be filing in, they're going to be wondering and like doing all their little twists and turns. So me personally, it's like I just felt like it was over scrutinized because, well, it was just tender and they were just going to limit him.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and a lot of people were kind of jumping on it, and like I said, I get the concern, but the Rams they did it the right way, and I mean Rappaport's report this morning, and I mean he worked out with Clayton Kershaw rehabbing the elbow, so I thought that was pretty cool. I mean Kershaw knows what he's doing.
They are buddies. Yeah,
so that was a cool story, but yeah, I think it was over scrutinized, and tonight we'll really see like, I guess, full action when he takes some hits, how he feels with it.
Now that leads me to my next topic, and it involves who Matthew Stafford is going to throw the football to. But we are going to play a game, Matt, called Over Under. Who has more catches tonight? Is it going to be the Super Bowl MVP, Cooper Kupp, or is it going to be the new guy, Allen Robinson? I'm going to let you have the floor first, Matt.
That's tough for me. So, yeah, I play a lot of fantasy football, and I stashed hard Allen Robinson this offseason. So, but apart from that, I really think it's going to be Allen Robinson, just because I kind of expect Buffalo to really key in on Cooper Kupp and try to double team him, which is going to leave Robinson open. And Robinson is also determined coming off a bad year in Chicago, the terrible offense and everything that happened. So I think we might see a little Allen Robinson opening night breakout performance tonight. It's going to be close, though. Both of those guys are going to have like big performances. They could both go over 100 yards.
I could definitely hear what you're saying, Matt. Now, if I were to choose, I'm actually going to say Cooper Kupp still is going to have his catches. He's going to still have more touches. Here's the reason why I say that. Sean McVay, he's not going to put Cooper Kupp in just one area. I mean, I'm sure you may have saw like in the Indianapolis Colts game, which was week 2 of last year, he literally had Cooper Kupp line up in the backfield, and it got the Colts defense thinking, oh, this guy's going to pass protect. But it turned out that he was running a route from that spot. So smartly, I think Sean McVay is going to still use Cooper Kupp as that chess piece, either way you look at it. Now, I could definitely see, I would probably say like the over-under on Allen Robinson's receptions tonight on my end is going to be 6. And inside the red zone, particularly inside the 10, that's when you know that Allen Robinson is going to be the number one guy to go to. So, I mean, I'm going to be curious to see like who gets most touches. But if I had a choice, I'm going to say like, even though the Bills have probably like drawn up game plans and maybe Von Miller's, who we're going to get into in a little bit, maybe Von Miller also chimed in as well. I still believe that Sean McVay is still going to be masterful in figuring out how to use Cooper Kupp. All the reason why I still feel like that Cooper has great potential to pick up where he left off last year.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, nobody can stop Cooper Kupp, right? So it's going to be just seeing those two guys together is going to be exciting, especially if Robinson can perform like I mean, we thought he was going to in Chicago. Of course, that was a different situation, but yeah.
And another thing too is like when you really think about it too, Matt, it's like you hear often like defensive coaches say, "Oh, we try to bracket this guy, we try to put another guy on this one." I feel like you can't really do that with Kupp because just how they move him around. It makes it harder for defenses to game plan. Like I almost feel like that defenses are now in a situation where it's like, well, I would just eliminate the yak yards. That's where Cooper Kupp to me is most dangerous. That's also where Allen Robinson has also made his money too.
Yeah, and the thing with Kupp is he's so technical. Like his footwork is ridiculous. So
yeah, I saw that too.
Even if you line someone up with him, like Kupp's gonna figure out how to get around it. So I mean, and that's the thing. Both guys can have like monster games tonight, especially with no real clear third cut option on the passing game.
I'll also add this, Matt. I'm sure you know the Bills are most likely they're going to be without their top lockdown cornerback. And so all the more reason why I just feel like the advantage swings towards the Rams, regardless if it's Kupp who gets the most catches or A-Rob. Now, moving along, we're going to go to the defensive side of the football now, Matt. So we have another newcomer who's making his Rams debut tonight. And it's actually a longtime rival of the Rams. Now he's putting on the Rams form. He's also back in Southern California. Inland Empire's own Bobby Wagner, graduate of Colony High School, even though he played his college ball at Utah State. This is where I aged myself, Matt. I saw Bobby Wagner play in college. So that's why I had to make sure I shaved the gray hairs because, yeah, so that's how old. But here's my question to you, Matt. So Bobby Wagner is teaming alongside Ernest Jones. So who do you believe will get more tackles tonight? Is it going to be the new guy, Bobby Wagner, or the rising second-year guy, Ernest Jones?
My gut tells me Bobby Wagner is going to be the guy getting more tackles. I mean, they paid him a lot of money, and clearly he can still play. So Ernest Jones is a good up-and-coming player. Like you said, he's a rising player. But my gut is still telling me Bobby Wagner is going to be kind of the central core of that, at least that group in the middle, right? So I'm guessing, right, Bobby Wagner gets more tackles tonight.
I definitely hear where you're coming from, and I would imagine that there's going to be games where it's going to be B-Wags, as they call him. He's going to have his 13 tackles, 14 tackles. Mm-hmm. Here's the reason why I'm gravitating more towards Ernest Jones tonight, Matt. Ernest Jones, I'm sure he knows that Ken Dorsey, who's making his debut as Bills offensive coordinator, I'm sure he's trying to funnel plays away from Bobby Wagner. He wants to test the young guy. That's the reason why I'm leaning more towards Ernest Jones having more tackles on this evening. Here's another thing, too, that I'll add. As you mentioned, I was at Rams camp, and I also closely watched Bobby Wagner and how he was around his teammates. He spent his most time, Matt, with Ernest Jones. It was almost as if, like, you were seeing two college roommates getting to know each other. And so I just look at it from the context of Ernest Jones picked up so many nuggets, so much knowledge from Bobby Wagner, and tonight he's going to unleash those nuggets against the Bills.
I like that, and that's I mean, you sign a veteran like that who can still play, but is also kind of grooming that next generation of players. So Wagner is a good signing in both those regards. So it'll be really interesting to see how the Rams defense plays.
I'm also going to add this too, Matt, regarding Bobby Wagner. So they have the Bills have a tight end, Dawson Knox, who just resigned. And I mean, Bobby Wagner's speed, I feel like that he's going to be needed more in the pass coverage end to eliminate Matt Knox, or Dawson Knox, I should say. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point. I'm kind of curious how, the Bills defense looks with Dabble gone and how the changes are implemented. So we'll see how much they use Knox and how much they use Davis and McKenzie. And Buffalo has a ton of weapons, so it'll be interesting to see how that kind of shapes itself out the other night.
Hey, so we're going to take a little bit of a quick break right now. So we'll be right back in a little bit. So hang on just one second.